It had been almost a year since the killings, and somehow Valerie had convinced everyone, even herself at moments, that she was innocent. The neighborhood was back to its cautious routines, sideways glances, doors locked early, the suburban security shattered, but slowly reforming like a cracked mirror. The official story was accepted. A roving man, always glimpsed at twilight through parted curtains, had stalked her book club, found them gathered in Valerie's sunlit living room with Sauvignon Blanc and humming buzz of gossip, and slain them with calculated cruelty. Valerie, shaking and smeared with her friend's blood, had survived only by hiding in the narrow space beneath the kitchen sink, her hand pressed over her mouth to stifle her panic. Valerie's world was her cul-de-sac, her garden of pale roses, the local school pickup lane. Her routine was shaped to the neighbor's expectations: a slice of banana bread for the mailman, a shadow beneath the porch light, a nervous laugh when someone mentioned the Suburban Slasher. At night, she would sit in her spotless kitchen, hands curled around a mug, eyes fixed on the backyard fence, where the police said the man had climbed in. It was easy to picture him, faceless under a hoodie, blade glinting. That was what everyone wanted, the comfort of a monster that wasn't one of their own. But the problem was, Valerie always heard the laughter after dark, not through the walls or windows, but inside. The high gasping giggles of Trina recounting her awkward date, Delilah's throaty cackle at some dark joke, Ruth's tinkling notes, always sweeter after a glass of wine. At first, she tried to drown them out with old sitcom reruns, but the laughter only threaded itself through the canned applause, getting louder whenever the room fell quiet, racing up the back of her neck so sharply she'd drop her mug. She reassured herself with memories, pictures fanned on her phone, police testimonies she played on repeat, anything to anchor herself to the official story. But each night, the laughter grew, and fragments of that evening would slip through, the heated words over their latest novel, the sting of Delilah's sarcasm, Trina's dismissive shake of her head, the tension pooling while white wine poured, the feeling of being mocked, judged, suffocated in her own home. Then there'd been the sudden weight of the lamp in her hand, her arm swinging before she even understood why, the shock of what her anger could conjure. But the news reports cited panic, a struggle, Valerie's brave crawl into hiding. She told her version enough that it became real, a tale she could recite with trembling conviction. Still, the laughter would not stop. Sometimes, as she stood beneath the dim kitchen light, evening after evening, the dusk thickening at the windows, she knew they watched her. The spectral forms of her club, half shadow, half memory, gathered in a silent circle, wine glasses glinting with accusation, just out of the corner of her vision. Whenever she tried to sleep, hands cold as guilt would press her shoulders flat to the mattress. The neighborhood moved on, but the sounds followed Valerie everywhere, laughter swelling until she pressed her hands over her ears, voices whispering that the stalker never left because he never truly existed. On nights she tried to confess, her breath would turn to mist, and the room would chill, suffocating the words. In the reflection on her fridge, she would sometimes glimpse a figure behind her, not a man, but the distorted echo of her own smile, wide and cold and unrepentant. And that laughter, now, wasn't just her friends. It was the neighborhood, the news anchors, the face in the fridge. It waited for her, smothering and eternal, a secret she'd carry until someone else found it too heavy to bear.